Good afternoon, everybody. Hi, I'm Jack Markowski. I'm president of Community Investment Corporation, and I'm pleased that you are all able to join us today for a very significant announcement. Today we're announcing a commitment by 40 banks to provide $330 million to rehab and preserve affordable rental housing in the Chicago area over the next 5 years. We are very happy to be joined by Mayor Lightfoot, who will tell you when to clap. The Housing Commissioner, Marisa, Novara, and all of you who are here to join us today as well. We're pleased to be doing this in South Shore, actually, where this has been the greatest recipient of CIC lending over the last 10 years. I want to welcome representatives of our 8 largest investors. These, Frank Petaway from Northern Trust. Frank? Eva Brown. Where's Eva? Eva Brown from Fifth Third. Carl Jenkins from BMO Harris. Tony Smith from PNC, right behind me here. I didn't mention that Tony and Frank are also CIC board members. Tony Hernandez from CIBC. There's Tony. Tiffany Taylor. Tiffany is from Wintrust, and she's chair of our 1-to-4 unit loan committee. They approve the loans. Jeff Newcomb from First Midwest Bank, and also a CIC board member. And Drew Burlock, TCF Commercial Real Estate. Where is Drew? There he is. Thank you all. These 8 major investors, we've got 40 investors, but these 8 have committed $221 million. That's 2/3 of the total loan pool. Thank you very much. I also want to recognize Chaz Hall from Leaders Bank. He's chair of the Multifamily Loan Committee. Chaz? Now, securing these financing commitments has been a major effort. I want to thank the entire CIC board for their support, their advice, and their counsel, especially a few people who couldn't join us today. Our chairman, Mitch Feiger, Vice Chair Dave Dykstra, who actually chaired the capital campaign, and all of the members of our Access to Capital Committee. These include Tim Hadro, Bob Marchon, Frank Petaway, and Dan Watts. Quite a win. Thanks to Nick Brunick and Andrea Burke, who are our lawyers and friends from Applegate and Thorne Thompson. And Applegate and Thorne Thompson has provided the legal structure for our loan pool since 1984. And of course, thanks to the CIC staff who implemented the day-to-day activities, especially our CFO, Mike Siacha, our Director of Lending, Jack Crane. Where's Jack Crane? There he is, Jack Crane. Jerry Edwards, Director of Credit Administration, Jerry, and Ann Cole, who quarterbacked the entire effort. Thank you all to the staff. CIC and our investors provide the money, but it is our borrower building owners who do the real work of owning and operating affordable rental housing. We have some CIC borrowers joining us here today. We have Anthony and Corey Oliver. There's Anthony, Corey back there. This is their building we're at today. It's an example of CIC lending in South Shore. And we're also joined by Jeff Coleman. Jeff Coleman, a longtime CIC borrower. So welcome to you all, and thank you guys for your hard work in providing quality, affordable housing throughout Chicago. And finally, greetings to our other 32 investors, our board, loan committee, the staff of CIC, borrowers, and friends who couldn't join us in person today, but are joining us virtually through live stream video. Hello to all of you, and thank you. We are grateful to you for your commitment to CIC and helping us bring affordable housing and community development to Chicago for the last 36 years. So what are we celebrating? I said we're celebrating the commitment of 40 investors to provide $330 million to finance the rehab and preservation of 7,000 units of affordable housing over the next 5 years. The investors are making this commitment to the Community Investment Corporation loan pool. This is the largest source of lending for affordable housing in the Chicago area. CIC has provided $1.5 billion to rehab and preserve 63,000 units of affordable rental housing since 1984. The investments range from $1 million to $55 million. We have 31 returning investors and 9 new investors. We thank all of you, and we need all of you to be successful. CIC serves the Chicago metro area, but most of the money will be invested in Chicago, and most of the Chicago investments will occur on Chicago's south and west sides. The $330 million commitment represents a major effort to counter the historic disinvestment in many Chicago communities. It will preserve our affordable housing stock, invest in communities that are most in need, and build and strengthen the local businesses who own and operate the buildings. When we say affordable housing here, we're not talking about public housing redevelopments. We're not talking about low-income housing tax credits or other developments built with large public subsidies. Instead, we're talking about what's called naturally occurring affordable housing. This is simply neighborhood housing that is privately owned and privately financed. It's owned by local small business entrepreneurs. This type of housing actually accounts for 75% of the affordable rental housing in Chicago and across the country. It provides affordable housing to Chicago's workforce, and it dominates the landscape of our communities. The people who own this housing are among the largest stakeholders in our communities. Of course, providing credit for rehabilitation and preservation of our residential infrastructure is important, but it is only one part of community development. That's why I'm so glad that Mayor Lightfoot has joined us today, and with her unprecedented focus on rebuilding the south and west sides. As CIC has demonstrated over our 36 years, these communities are solid locations for investment. And with Mayor Lightfoot's Invest Southwest initiative, we look forward to a powerful synergy among the residential, commercial, industrial, and other sectors of our communities. With that, I'd like to welcome Mayor Lightfoot.
Thank you, Jack, and thanks for all the work that you and your team are doing. This is truly a day of great celebration. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very, very pleased to be here. In addition to giving a big thanks to Jack and everyone at CIC for the incredible work, I also want to acknowledge all the investors. I got to give a shout out to my guy Frank, who he and I have known each other for quite a long time. He's my banker at Northern Trust, so I'm glad that Northern is a part of this incredible opportunity. Tony Smith from PNC Community Development Team. Tony has been in the trenches in this work for quite a long time, so thank you, Tony. CVIC President and CEO, Tony Oliver, thank you for being here. And of course, our incredible Department of Housing Commissioner, Marisa Novara, who I've gotten to know a lot over these last couple of years, and I think is really living and breathing what we need to be doing around affordability all over our city. So thank you, Marisa and your team, for everything that you're doing. We are here to salute 40 Chicago institutions, large and small, who came together around a shared goal of expanding affordable housing and community development in the city of Chicago, and delivered no less than $330 million for that mission over the next 5 years. Rehabbing and preserving 7,000 affordable rental units, increasing access to credit in Chicago communities, growing and strengthening the local entrepreneurs who provide the majority of affordable housing in Chicago, and countering the historic disinvestment we've seen in our city for way too long, particularly on our south and west sides. But this isn't just an act of altruism on the part of Chicago's lenders. It's something much, much more. By investing in the CIC, they're able to expand their reach to support our communities even further. And in doing so, support the public-private partnerships already underway through initiatives like Invest Southwest, to create more and more and bring our city's policies in line with our values and with our residents' needs. That's what's most important. ensuring every Chicagoan has a safe place to live for themselves and their families. It must not be the ceiling for our goals. It has to be the floor, the baseline, and the foundation from which we build our lives, we build our communities, and fulfill our shared dreams. Over these past 6 months, we've seen how the idea of affordable housing isn't just a nice thing to have. Because of the vulnerabilities that have shown through over the course of this historic pandemic and resulting economic crisis, thousands of our families are struggling to remain in their homes, to keep a roof over their head and their children safe. It is morally unconscionable to keep that basic human need and right out of reach for far too many. When it's lacking, we all lose. We lose the hope of our residents. We lose their potential and their talent. And we lose with it who we are as a city. That's why since the first day of my administration, we have made expanding affordable housing a top priority. How do we build safe and vibrant communities? Well, there's many answers to that question, but one of the top ones is making sure that housing is safe and affordable and in reach of our residents, and that's why today's priority is today's announcement is so incredibly important. That's why in our 2020 budget, we created a new and improved allocation for affordable housing resources, increasing the number of affordable housing units for Chicago's lowest income renters by 19% by delivering an additional $5 million to the Low Income Housing Trust Fund. That's why earlier this year, we joined community and preservation advocates to restore and cut the ribbon and reopen the historic Mark Twain building, featuring nearly 150 affordable units on the near north side. That's why we created the Housing Assistance Grant Program to keep our families impacted by COVID-19 in their homes and out of debt. And that list goes on because this is a priority of this administration. Whether it's through these measures or in today's announcement, our city's developer community has been at the table with us every step of the way, and we need your help, both for our for-profit and community-based developers. There's a lot that we can do as a city government, but we cannot do it alone, and particularly when it comes to creating and addressing the gap in affordable housing units all across our city. We need that partnership with all of you in order to fully meet this crisis head on. And that means connecting up with the small business owners who own the bulk of our affordable housing rental units, supporting entrepreneurs who invest in their own time and money in their own communities, hiring and buying materials locally, and who are personally committed to communities where they work. That's what this is all about. In many neighborhoods, the owners of apartment buildings are among the strongest and most stable local businesses. I don't need to tell you all that, but it's important that we say it here. That's who we need to be supporting, whether it's preserving affordable housing or building strong communities. Today in Chicago, CIC has already been an important partner in efforts like the Troubled Building Initiative, Renew Woodlawn, the Opportunity Investment Fund, and the city's new Woodlawn Loan Fund, and so many more initiatives. So again, thank you, Jack. Thank you to your entire team. And I look forward to continuing this work with everyone here. Once again, thank you, and now I'll invite Jack back to the podium.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor Lightfoot. We're also lucky we're going to hear a few words from Marisa Novara, the Commissioner of the Department of Housing. Commissioner Novara has been a leader in affordable housing and community development for many years. I first met her many years ago when she served as housing director for the Lawndale Christian Development Corporation in North Lawndale. So she has experience on the ground in the communities of Chicago. Later, during her 8-year tenure at the Metropolitan Planning Council, she became known as a champion of racial and economic integration. As Commissioner of the Department of Housing, she is focused on keeping Chicago affordable for all income levels through policies that address the needs of tenants, landlords, developers, homeowners, and other community stakeholders. Under her strong leadership, We are pleased to work closely with the Department of Housing on many different initiatives, as the mayor mentioned. Please welcome Commissioner Marisa Novara.
Good afternoon, everyone. I think the mayor has better hair for this than I do. Thank you, Jack, for that introduction and for your continued leadership over CIC and partnership with the city for today's announcement. And as Jack mentioned, on a personal note, Jack was my housing commissioner when I was developing affordable housing on the west side, and you would come out to our groundbreakings and our grand openings, and it was an honor for us to have you speak words at those events. So it's my honor to have the chance to do that today. Thank you. I also want to thank Mayor Lightfoot for her ongoing invaluable work to create a Chicago that works for everyone. Tony Smith for his CIC board leadership, providing an investor's perspective on this important initiative, and for having served as a co-chair along with CIC Stacy Young on our inclusionary housing task force. Thank you for your service, Tony. And Anthony Oliver for using CIC's resources to invest in multifamily housing, just like the building we're in now. And Anthony and I were just discussing how far back we go developing on the west side. So this is great. Thank you for the reunion in a time where we have spent a lot of time by ourselves. So today's announcement is one that puts us much closer to becoming a more equitable city. Everyone, no matter their circumstances, deserves safe and affordable housing, especially during these times when having a home to shelter in is so important. CIC's $330 million commitment to Chicago's neighborhoods, made possible thanks to the 40 participating bank investors, are the kinds of investments the city needs. And as Jack mentioned, and the mayor mentioned, it's important to note that the 7,000 affordable rental units that this investment will create are not publicly subsidized. And that matters because we as a city do not receive the federal subsidies that we need to meet our needs. Nationally, for every 4 people that are eligible for subsidized affordable housing, only 1 receives it. And that's why the role of CIC is so crucial. They lend in areas where others may not lend. They assist borrowers that others may not assist. They get unsubsidized but still affordable units in communities for families who need them. Because we, the city, cannot reach the need with public dollars alone. So something that's really important to me about CIC's work is to know this investment does not only create affordable housing. A quarter of CIC's borrowers own just 1 or 2 buildings. Another quarter own 3 to 5. So those half of CIC's borrowers, those are not national conglomerates. These are mom and pops, these are small entrepreneurs, the majority of which are women and people of color who live in the communities in which they are investing. So this investment helps build local wealth as well as creating more quality places to call home. Many of these places build on ongoing city efforts such as Invest Southwest to increase neighborhood investments. And with Invest Southwest, we've heard a lot about the commercial corridors, rightfully so, but I want you all to know that Commissioner Cox and I are working really hard at putting together our corresponding housing strategy in each of those communities. And finally, I'd like to thank CIC for being such an amazing partner to the Department of Housing. I was telling them recently, I don't think a week goes by that one of us doesn't say, we should check with CIC on that. Let's see if CIC can acquire that property. Let's check with Stacy on what she thinks about that legislation. Let's see if Jack will help us develop a loan pool in one of our communities. So you all have been just incredible partners to us. Department of Housing cannot thank you enough for your day in, day out partnership, and we congratulate you on this next step of incredible investment in Chicago's neighborhoods. Thanks, Jack. Thank you, CIC, for this continued collaboration. Thank you.
Thank you, Marisa. And we truly value the partnership with the Department of Housing, with Marisa, and with the city. Now I want to introduce Tony Smith, who's from our board of directors. Tony Smith has more than 30 years of banking experience. He is a senior vice president and community development market manager for PNC Community Development Banking. In this role, he oversees PNC's community development efforts in the Wisconsin, Illinois, St. Louis region. He's a longstanding member of our board of directors and of the Preservation Compact Leadership Committee. Today, we've asked Tony to speak both on behalf of as a representative of the CIC board of directors and on behalf of the 40 investors who have made the $330 million commitment to CIC. Please welcome Tony Smith.
Thank you, Jack. I've decided all this wind is intended to move our sails in the right direction and to give this program more than wings, but all of the energy it needs to do the work we know lies ahead. Thank you. You guys know I love history, and I will tell you, it was in the turbulence of the 1970s that an idea was born, an idea that the public and private sector had to come together to address the racism, the blight, and the redlining that existed in this town. It was an idea that made it very clear that banks could not sit on the sideline, but rather had to be actively engaged, not just in the discourse, but in the actual process of investing in and making the changes needed. CIC arose from this determination, and the work of CIC has never been more relevant. Access to affordable capital enables small businesses, many with roots in the community, many black and brown, many run by women of color, and most all doing work in our most challenged geographies. These are men and women who share the value of creating diverse, self-sustaining, vibrant neighborhoods and peoples. Small businesses, the heartblood of our city, are clients, or I should say change makers. Guys like this man over here at the Oliver. The banks in this program know it's not enough just to build homes, but that when we solve the housing challenge through equitable access to capital, we level the playing field. We're accretive to the larger objective of creating community wealth, better health, better education attainment, and better public safety outcomes, all the things the mayor has embraced as core values of her administration. It's all connected, and we certainly are better when we are socially responsible together. This is a CIC value and why I personally serve on this board and why PNC is a proud sponsor of Community Investment Corps. The 40 banks, and that really is remarkable, 40 banks who have made this commitment possible, and thank you to all of you again. Many of you are called friends, and even when we're competing with each other, we're buddies in this. These banks know that when we join together and pool our resources, we can achieve an exponentially larger impact. And in the process, expand the pool of naturally occurring affordable housing. Of course, this work is empowered because we have an unyielding commitment and partner in our city. So again, thank you, Mayor Lightfoot and Commissioner Novara. I always want to say you two are awesome. So I want to say that again, they are awesome. And so on behalf of the board of directors, let me again say congratulations to Jack Markowski and the incredible and dedicated men and women who make CIC's vision possible. And of course, in achieving this milestone. But let me know, you know what you do really matters, but let's not hear it from me. I have the opportunity, the pleasure of introducing a real expert. Boots on the ground warrior, a community champion, founder of Streetwise, leader of the Woodlawn Chamber, president and CEO of Civic, father, resident, and superhero. And so much more. Ladies and gentlemen, Anthony Oliver.
Wow, I had to look the other way when you were talking, right? Because that truly didn't sound like me, but I'm thankful, Tony, because of your mentorship. A lot of this is possible for me today. By the way, Mayor Lightfoot, God told me to tell you something. He said, if he is for you, then he cut it off and told me to get back to my prayer. So I think you can figure that out for yourself. But I'm a practitioner. Basically, what we're talking about is putting all of this money to work in very needed community. I stand at a very simple crossroad, Jack. One that you've seen me walk through, one that you've seen the struggles in order to get through. It's an economic story. Up from the street, economic. Working with homeless men and women back in 1992, up under Lower Wacker Drive to convince them to sell Streetwise newspaper was not my social endeavor. It was an endeavor to lift them up to greater levels of self-sufficiency, to get them to trade in that cup and sell a newspaper and earn a return on investment. I grew from Streetwise with a mission and a vision. And I have to tell you how important that is for a lot of our men and women that I see every day. I'm a small ma and pa business. So let's not get this twisted. I deal with my tenants every day. They got my phone number. They call me. If there's an issue, I listen to the story. If they can't get to my property manager, I listen to what they have to say. Ma and pa businesses, Madam Mayor, we need this from the bottom up like we need air. But what we need also is sustainability. The power that Jack and CIC has within them that is still yet not projected as far as it needs to be, in my opinion. We need that economic sustainability. We need that economic vision from the bottom up in our city. The disconnection that we're having right now, you have to ask yourself what is really going on. And when I do, I usually say, I don't know. But I don't know is a good place to start from. I don't rest on, I don't know, Madam Mayor. I try to find out by taking the next step. And so the next steps for me have been moving away from I don't know to trying to find out and to know. And CIC came across my purview, came across my vision in an I don't know moment. Jack Crane, South Shore Bank came across my purview, my vision in an I don't know moment. What we have is a moment today that most of us can honestly say, we just don't know. But it is this moment, this reset of concepts and ideas that I want to interject the concept of economic stability and sustainability intersecting with the people. And I'm gonna leave you with this because God gave me a purpose years ago, and it was much bigger than a mission. You see, in business, we got a mission. But purposeful investment, we need to hear the tune to the big money coming into our community. They need to say purpose with the investment. Say that you understand our community and don't leave us destitute. So I got a purpose, and I'm gonna close with this. My purpose has always been the same when I moved from the I don't know moment. It was almost like when I saw Mayor Lightfoot stepping up here on 119th Street doing her campaign, I just didn't know she knew how to step. She was throwing down. I didn't know she could sustain. She got it in. But those I don't know moments can be very uplifting. And so in my I don't know moment, here we are, and I'm gonna paint the picture where I'm from, where I'm at. I invest Southwest. My Southwest team, where you at? Where you at, J. Dub, from the south, from the west side? Our Lawndale team. Our South Side team, where you at, Don? All right, these are the contractors. And my son and Corey. Corey, say hello. Say hi, Corey. These are the men and women that we really need to be thinking about. Alan, Invest Southwest. The intersection between business and community are people. My purpose has not changed since Streetwise, and it was simply grow people with business as we grow. The net return is sustainable communities. If we begin in this reset moment to work on some of this, I want to help. I've seen it done. Streetwise is 29 years old. Our men and women are still going to work from desire. We're putting together houses, affordable houses with CIC and our partners. mission-based, mission-focused ma and pop. And if you didn't know, now you know.
My favorite part, here's the money. Show me the money. So Jeff, on behalf of the board, congratulations.
Thank you, sir. And you know, the theme for our campaign was real returns. And what I would say to to Tony and the investors is we're going to make sure that we use this money to create real returns for the communities, for the building owners, for the people who live in the buildings, and for the investors themselves. Thank you very much. And thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, everyone.
Nice to meet you.